Your number one hype gal here, and welcome to the Weekly Warm-Up, your weekly 20-minute dose of all things running, wellness, nutrition, and real balanced living. I'm Jess McDowell, and each week I'll share quick tips, mindset shifts, product faves, and all the little things that help me stay grounded, energized, moving and grooving, on the run and off. Whether you're hitting the pavement or just need something short and sweet to keep you going, let's dive in.
Well, hello. Welcome back to the Weekly Warm-Up Podcast. I'm your host, as you already know, because you just listened to my intro, so why are we even doing that? Episode 4, we have done it. Still moving and grooving. I have now hit the 1% of podcasters. I recently heard a statistic that said people that start a podcast typically quit after their 3rd episode. Guys, I'm right here. I'm part of the 1%. Anyways, I have the wireless mic on, even though I have the new mic that I'm recording into my MacBook. I've got the wireless mic connected to my camera, just in case somehow we lose audio on the MacBook, which I am literally having anxiety over. We'll still have some sort of great audio or decent audio. All right, we've got a stacked podcast today. 3 pages, but we're gonna make it happen. So let's dive in. We're starting off strong, and we're gonna talk about bad brand deals, how to avoid being taken advantage of. Before I start, I am signed to 2 talent agencies. However, my work that I have done up until now has solely been because I have busted my bum off. And that being said, it comes with some wins and losses and a lot of learning. And one of them is that, and I have it right here, saying no more than saying yes. And what I mean by that is if a brand reaches out to you and wants to work with you, depending on where you are in your career, you have the decision to say yes or no to whether or not they're going to pay you or not, how much they're going to pay you or not. If you come back with a good negotiation and explain the value of your talent and the value of your skill and the value of your worth and also the value of your community and who you are as a personal brand, you'll go a lot further. Now, that being said, you should always read a contract too. You will see a lot of the fine print is going to give these brands full usage right to anything you create, and also for how long they want to use it for, or if they want to chop it up and make it into bits and pieces. You never know what the alternative motive is. I never say that right. Alternative motive is, and you gotta be really careful with that. So making sure the contract aligns with what you're delivering and what their potential return of investment is. Why can't I speak today? Potential return of investment is, as well as the rights they have for the content you're making. And then are you properly being compensated? Being an influencer, being a content creator, UGC, digital creator, whatever you want to call it, is hard work no matter what. Personally, I am not going to allow myself to be railroaded by anybody. I used to allow that to happen. I shouldn't say used to allow that to happen. I didn't know better, but now I know my worth, and I've built up such a solid portfolio that I have room to negotiate, and I have room to go back to a brand and say, you know what? This isn't aligning with what I'm looking for or for the work that I'm gonna do and the deliverables that you want. I'm not gonna say yes to chump change. I wanted to talk about, which is part of the notes for this segment, and that's building trust with your community. That is the most important thing you should be thinking about, is building trust with your community, but also too, how does your community perceive you? And whatever you're showcasing, that's part of your lifestyle. You actually use it, you actually do it. People will read on to that really quickly. Truly, it is just like myself when I'm following people. If I start to see, wait, this person is turn in. You know, the more they get followers, or the second they get any type of recognition on something, they start to, it's not a pivot in a sense of growth or rebranding, but it's more of a pivot of not being their true identity and what they were sharing with their community before. And that's something that you really need to pay attention to, because if you don't, you will not gain trust and you will not continue to build trust and have consistent trust. And that's so important. Build your community and build your community of trust, and don't be fake. That's it. Don't be fake. Next topic is what I eat in a day, unrealistic expectations. However, before someone tries to cancel me, what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with sharing recipes and getting creative with sharing meals. Instead of doing what I eat in a day, you can offer tips and tricks or little recipes here and there that are great, but avoiding the what I eat in a day, because it really can mentally mess with people that either look up to you or that are wanting to somewhat mimic what type of fitness and nutrition and lifestyle you're doing. And it becomes truly very, very unrealistic and sometimes unattainable for that person or for those people, because I don't expect people to eat what I eat in a day at the level that I am at, athletic wise, fitness wise. As a sports nutritionist, I'm not saying that I know everything. And I'm also not trying to be somebody coming on telling people what they should and shouldn't do. I don't want anyone to ever feel like, gosh, I'm eating everything that she eats and it's not working. Well, that's probably because you have to think of the metabolic rate. You have to think about your gender, your genes, your insulin, your hormones, the types of foods that you're eating. Is it actually benefiting you? Are you eating too much protein? Are you eating not enough carbs? Are you eating the wrong fats? So that's where it really kind of plays a factor. Protein is really great for you, but overloading in protein is not. And I think people misunderstand the use of or how to use protein when it comes to exercise and the types of exercise that we do. There is a rule of thumb that having about 1 pound or having 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight, yes, sure. But are you eating that protein to bulk? Are you eating that protein to build muscle? Are you eating that protein to become toned and lean? Are you eating that protein to lose weight? What is it that you're eating significant amount of protein for? And then what types of protein are you eating? Because there are all different types in the sense of supplements, plant-based, animal-based. There's a lot of factors that play into it. And lastly, I want to touch on the subject about carbs being your friend, not the enemy, especially when it comes to what you're seeing on the internet and social media and so forth. You don't want to mistake carbs as your enemy, but you also don't want to mistake carbs as your best friend, because carbs do turn into sugar. So glucose turns into sugar. It supports muscle recovery, brain function, energy levels. Carbs do a lot more than what they are put out there. And they're treated like Cinderella in the castle. And speaking of muscle recovery, gosh, this has become a nutrition segment and I'm not mad at it. And I am hoping that you're still with me, because this is some beneficial information right here. Creatine. Creatine is a supplement. It is a form of protein and it helps with building lean muscle. It does not bulk you. It also helps with recovery. It also helps with mood and energy and performance. I cannot tell you how many times people have asked me, I'm too afraid to take creatine because I don't want to gain weight or bulk. That is not what creatine does. Creatine is here to create tone, lean muscle, help with performance and recovery, which obviously helps with energy and mood. There's a difference. When you're trying to bulk or you're trying to build significant muscle mass, you're consuming an amount of calories and food that isn't really even, you can't even understand it to the regular human being or the normal eye of how much that would be. So don't think about it that way. Think about it as creatine is going to help you build tone, lean muscle. I take it every day. I think we need to just chill it out a little bit here and talk about something that happened to me, and I'm calling it protein murder, because that is exactly what it was. And since we've been on the topic of protein and creatine and carbs, this could not be more me this could not be more me. So as we all know, there's protein powder. And as we all know, there is the protein shakers. I have a shaker that is designed to where it doesn't have to have the metal ball in it. It's designed where it's a little twisted. So you put the water or liquid in first, and then you put the protein on top. I have used this for a hot minute. It's fine. You close it, you shake it up. Well, I had a lovely day, fantastic day. I was very productive, la-di-da-di-da, cleaned, did all the laundry. I not only switched out new sheets, which that means if you're doing new sheets, that's a full body shower, you're lubed up, you've done your skincare, your hair, like you're feeling good, you're ready to cozy into these sheets. Mind you, I even washed my duvet cover. So we are ready to just have one of those nights where you burrow into your bed and your clean sheets. I had made myself my little protein shake. I was FaceTiming my mom per usual because I love talking to that woman. And I'm in bed. I had already shaken it, but I opened it up and there was still little particles left. So I was like, okay, I need to shake it a little longer. That's fine. Close it up. And I didn't realize I didn't hear the snap because I was in the middle of a conversation, and I shook it. And when I say it went everywhere, y'all, it went everywhere. I cannot make this up if I even tried. It was so bad to where I looked at my mom on FaceTime and I just said to her, I have to go. It's really bad. I have to go. I couldn't talk about it for a week just because I was still suffering PTSD. It not only went all over my freshly washed duvet, somehow it got onto the sheets underneath, the pillowcases. Oh no, it gets worse. My headboard, all over the back of my wall, on my wall, white walls, my bedside table, my bedside sconce, what is it called? The lights that are on the wall, my window and blinds, the baseboards. I'm talking anywhere and everywhere that liquid could touch, it did. And this is chocolate protein. I didn't even know where to start. I just thought to myself, let's get the sheets and the duvet over with because it's 6 o'clock at night and I don't even know if I'm gonna go to bed tonight because what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Drama, but that's how I felt. I peeled off the duvet cover and realized it was also on my down comforter, so then I had to wash that. I throw that in the washer, and because you're peeling it off, of course, some of it got onto my tile, which means I have to clean it up the tile. Once I get the sheets off to wash too, luckily I have a spare, so I was able to throw that on at least. I did the my headboard, because it's cloth, so I wanted to get that off. I had to pull my bed out from my wall to go behind to take off what was look like protein murder on my wall. It had dripped down even. It was so bad to where when I wiped it off, it still looked like there was chocolate on the wall, and I had to clean it again. Because it was becoming nighttime, I didn't see every spot that it hit, so I thought I had cleaned up everything, and the next morning when I woke up, I couldn't believe it. No. I've got to do round 2. I had to do round 2. Mind you, just the other day, I think it was last week, I go to lay in bed, and lo and behold, I kind of look over, and there is still a spot of dry protein milkshake, whatever you want to call it, on one of my blinds. I couldn't believe it. It was as if it was haunting me. I think I've gotten it all by now, but I will never shake protein in and around my bed or my bedroom ever again. Now, mind you, this isn't the first time I've ever done it. I have done it in my kitchen where it's exploded, but this was hell. And it ended up working out that everything was washed and cleaned in time for me to get my Z's. But at one point, I was laying in my bed with just my weighted blanket on and all my pillowcases off. So no pillowcases on my pillows. And it was just, the sheets. And I was thinking to myself, this is the end. Oh, anyways. Yeah. Protein murder. The magic of zone 2. Your secret weapon for endurance. I've talked about zone 2 quite a bit on my socials, but this was one of those afterthought topics that I thought to talk about, only because it's just so beneficial and also quite difficult in the sense of fully understanding what zone 2 training is and how to maintain it, but also how it really can improve your overall endurance and stamina in the long run. So zone 2 means that you are, and we're talking in running terms, running at a pace where you're staying between 60 and 70% of your max heart rate. Most people today are using some sort of device and technology that will monitor your heart rate for you. So you'll know what 60 to 70% of your max heart rate is, or it will show you that you are in zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, zone 4 or 5. But to get your max heart rate, it is 220 minus your age. So that is the maximum your heart rate can go before your heart explodes, basically. That is your anaerobic 90 to 100% max of your heart rate that's your max right there. Sprinting, can't breathe, about to throw up, passing out on the ground. Think 60 to 70% as a nice, chill party pace. You can most likely have a conversation. You can maintain this pace for a longer period of time, meaning 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And you are able to regulate your breathing the entire time without having to slow down or stop. The reason why zone 2 training is so difficult is because as human beings naturally, we'll either want to speed up because we think we're not doing this right. This can't be it. This can't be proper or not proper. This can't be right. Being in zone 2, this doesn't seem hard enough. But then the point is endurance, stamina, longer term of being able to maintain. And then that's where they run into a situation where they're not staying at the 60 to 70%. They're maybe going between the 70 to 80%, and then they plateau. And then they have to go lower than this. Well, you don't really want to ever go lower than 60%, but you're in the 60 to 65% or you're having to stop because you didn't maintain that zone 2 training. To do zone 2 training, you're wanting to do it between 30 to 90 minutes, at least 2 to 3 times a week, of some sort of cardio-based exercise, typically running. You can do it outside, you can do it on a treadmill, totally fine. Just understand the different factors of doing zone 2 training on a treadmill versus outside, because you're not factoring in weather, outside temperatures, potential elevation, climate. That's the word I was trying to find, climate. Whereas if you're on a treadmill, also too, the terrain. Even if you're running on flat roads, like me in Florida, your terrain is going to be different. You're going to be on a road one time that the pavement is different than the concrete, or maybe you have to go over some grass or XYZ or over a little bridge, where on a treadmill, if you're staying in a consistent speed at a consistent level of incline, that's not changing. So just always remember that when you're training. Lastly, zone 2 training is really good for those that are, like I said, wanting to build up stamina, wanting to build up endurance, and eventually run longer distances for longer periods of time, whether it's training for a race or whether it's just wanting to set a new PR. Because what will end up happening then is, as you start training with the zone 2, then you're going to also go into your interval training, which that helps with your stamina or your pace. So that's going to improve, that's going to improve your speed, your interval training. That is also going to help with you working on, when you're in zone 2 training, that you can factor in a longer distance. So say you're in that 30 to 45 minute zone 2 training max, your interval training is going to help you maybe get to that 45 to 90 minute in zone 2 training. And then obviously you want to factor in your strength training with your zone 2 training, because your strength training is going to help with your muscle mass and staying strong with your ligaments and your tendons and being toned, so you can run longer distances and your body's strength as far as your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, your core are strong enough to help you withstand longer distances and the impact of running in general. Oh, your knees. Did I say your knees? Anywho, so that's zone 2 training. You want to factor that in with all the other training that you're doing, but it is really, really great and I highly recommend it. All right, we're getting down to the wire. 2 more topics to go, and then we have products that I'm digging this week. We are going into, are you wearing the appropriate activewear? I felt like since we touched on running sneakers, I wanted to touch on activewear, because your gear in general is super important. And not only are your running sneakers, but the clothing that you put on your body to go and do any type of movement, not just running, but any type of active movement. What you want to factor in is the sweat wickening. Sweat wickening is so important because water gets heavy. And if your activewear is not sweat wickening, where it can quickly dry and it's just absorbing all the sweat, that's going to weigh you down no matter what activity you're doing. Sweat wickening is key. And then from there, obviously factoring not having heavy materials such as cotton or polyester, things that don't breathe. You want activewear that breathes and for the right activity. But if you're wearing activewear, we'll say for running, that is covering your heat spots, your major heat spots on your body are behind your neck with your back, your armpits, behind your legs. You could say the tummy area too, but that's mainly more women, hormonal wise. But those are your heat spots. So if you're wearing activewear that is not breathable, is not sweat wickening, and is over the heat spots, you're going to not be able to perform at your best. And we don't want that. We want you to be able to perform at your best. That was so embarrassing to say. I apologize. We don't want you, because you're not gonna be able to perform at your best. We want you to perform at your best. When you think about compression, I want you to think about compression on arms and legs mainly. Running, mainly when they're wearing compression sleeves, that's to help with blood flow. That's what compression is, to help with blood flow, and which then helps with your muscles not to cramp up and to have better output or return when especially you're running or you're doing any type of heavy lifting or strength training. That's potential to maybe hit workout, but mostly you're going to see a lot of the compression clothing and activewear on endurance athletes, which is super important, but just making sure that when you're purchasing compression clothing or activewear that is appropriate and it's not too restricting. There's a difference between compression to help with blood flow and cutting your circulation off, which brings me to my last topic, and that is comfort and that fits. There is nothing worse than having activewear that doesn't fit you properly and you're constantly having to adjust. Sometimes you might think that activewear is not for you or it's not good because you're having to adjust, but you're really not wearing the right size, which is always something that you want to do when you're unsure, to do a try, which means whether you go into the store or you order the different sizes and see which one best fits for you. For me, because I've worn so many different activewear, I know what to order and what to get for each brand. You don't want your sports bra to be cutting your circulation off or being too restrictive where you can't breathe properly. But then you also don't want it to be too loose to where then it's causing friction and you're getting marks where the sports bra is on the band. Typically, it's usually under the breasts that it will happen. Same for guys with chafing, with wearing leggings too, women with shorts and things like that. So comfortability and that it fits. Last but not least is properly fueling your body for running. I love running, that's my thing. So we're gonna talk about this as if we are all runners. Your prime fuel is carbohydrates, where if you're focused more on strength training, you're gonna think more of protein with carbs, but protein first. So running, you're thinking of carbs because carbohydrates, like we talked about before, your prime fuel, and it's stored as glycogen in your body to produce energy. This is where it gets tricky in a sense, but anything over 30 minutes of exercise, you are going to want to ensure that you have ingested carbohydrates at least an hour before you work out. And then your best source for fueling your body prior to exercising, prior to running, that 1 hour, you can even do 45 minutes if you want, is oats, sweet potatoes, rice, fruits, whole grains. That could also be a banana with peanut butter, toast with honey, oatmeal with berries. I would stay away from these items because you will get gas, which means then you will get a stitch or a cramp, however you want to call it. So I wrote down high fat or high fiber foods and uncooked foods, especially uncooked vegetables. If it produces any type of, not carbon monoxide, but nitrogen or any type of acid or gas, don't do it. Also, don't dry scoop before a workout unless you know your body can handle it, but I would say not on an empty stomach. Dry scooping will cause a stitch, that's what I call it, cramps, like you've never seen before. That's what you want to focus on. You want to get the carbs in because that is what your body's going to burn as far as fuel for that first 30 to 60 minutes of you working out. Anything after that first hour is going to end up being burning into proteins, but that's where then we're going to fuel our body consistently while we're working out, which is my next topic right here. How to stay fueled while you're in the middle of your endurance exercise And that means we're gonna obviously wanna have carbs, and we're gonna wanna maybe get some caffeine in too. So you're gonna wanna have 30 to 60 grams of carbs per hour. So that's through your gels, your chews, drinks, whatever you want. I've talked about Never Second, Honey Stingers, Martin before. I really like those. And then any type of electrolyte fuel. I love LMNT, Primal Harvest. Shout out to Primal Harvest. That is my go-to. But what I wanted to say was, this was my note. I had to make sure I didn't forget about this because I sometimes do. And that's, don't wait until you're out of fuel to fuel. So depending on your distance and your climate, so your uncontrollable factors, you want to fuel every 3 miles. That means that this has nothing to do with before fueling. This means while you're exercising, while you're running, while you're doing whatever type of endurance it is, don't wait until you're exasperated to fuel. It's too late. So that is why for me, it has always worked where every 3 miles, I will fuel. Now, everyone is different, especially as far as advance-wise goes, how long you've been doing it, what works for your body. This is something that you really want to work with yourself on figuring out. But again, it goes back to the week that you're having, truly, your sleep, what you've been eating, how your stress levels have been. It always varies, but you want to be able to find relatively your sweet spot of when to fuel, and don't mess around with that. That is super important. And then lastly is after your run. That is going to be for recovery and muscle support. Protein is super important, that 30 to 60 minutes right after you eat. But not only that, your body is continuously burning calories after you do any type of exercise, not just running. So you want to have protein right after, which helps repair muscle tissues, supports immune, which we're not really talking about right now, but your recovery. So you're thinking meat, eggs, yogurts. You could even go in the sense of chickpeas and beans, tofu. You can do a protein smoothie. You can get a protein shaken if you're not able to get to your meal right away, but you're gonna think protein. And you wanna get some antioxidants within that too. And then from there, your healthy fats. So that's gonna help with your endurance as well, but also your hormones. And so we're thinking of healthy fats, avocados, fish, almonds. You could even do some sort of nut butter. So we're wanting to get in those healthy fats too, which you can mix in to your carbs or your protein. It kind of all works together. Guys, we've hit on episode 4, besides now going into products I'm digging this week. Let's do it. First is Eucerin. I have been using this stuff since the second it came out, and I believe that is going on 4 years. Why I think that, I don't know, but I really think it has. And it's the Eucerin Sensitive Mineral Face, so it's zinc oxide protection, and it's a tinted sunscreen, SPF 35. Most of you, if you've been around, have seen me put this on. I actually use this as foundation until I bought foundation that I rarely use when I want to glow up, if that's what we're calling it. But this actually morphs to the color of your skin, which is super cool. So you just put it on, and whatever shade you are, it morphs to it. It has worked for me. Now, I don't know if it's worked for lighter shades and darker shades, but I absolutely love it. And obviously it's got the zinc oxide protection. It's a mineral, and it's great for sensitive skin. SPF 35, that's great. There's 24 hours in a day, guys. From there, we've seen all these. This was like the TikTok boom, and it's Sung Boom, the deep collagen masks. I love that I can just scoop this up at Target now. I just got 3 the other day, but they're just really great, honestly. I have no other words to say. I'm not a skincare professional, but the collagen masks, you can just keep them on, and how you just peel them off in the morning and they've evaporated and you're just bouncy. Really love those. From there, I've been sharing a lot about Actinarc. I've been using Actinarc for a while. I do have a code which you can go to my Instagram and get, which is in my links. But Actinarc, their 4% niacinamide oily scalp serum, really, really love. This is gonna help with maintaining oily scalp. And that's something that I do get because I have a lot of hair, but it's fine hair. But someone like me that exercises and moves and grooves and sweats a lot, it's really great. And then the cold process stem cell scalp serum. This is amazing for your overall scalp health. And I like to have them together. I will use them 2 or 3 times a week. But this has helped me not have to wash my hair every day, depending on my activity and what I'm doing. So I'm not washing my hair every day anymore. I used to do that. But now what I do is, for instance, I wash my hair today, so tomorrow I won't, but I'll just put conditioner in it. But this stuff has helped so much, and it's helped with hair growth, my hair overall shine, breakage. It's been huge with breakage, and I cannot rave enough about it. Then from there, we got 2 more left. This Kirsten S, it's their Subtle Shine Softening Oil. I use Kirsten S for their leave-in conditioner, and I love their shampoos and conditioners. Used it a lot, and I got the softening oil, and I have really, really liked it. Just put it in with the wet hair. I like to air dry my hair a lot, so reducing frizz and having it soft and just not all kinds of crazy. And then last but simply not least, you know me, I love my Ole Hendrickson. This is the Cold Plunge Pore Remedy Moisturizer. I actually finished it this morning. I am all out, but I love this stuff. I put it on daytime, nighttime. It's super lightweight. Obviously, it's going to help with your pores and has all that goodness in it. Again, I'm not a skincare professional, but I love this stuff. I will put this on right after my serums because it's not as, it's in between a serum and a moisturizer. That's how it feels. It's so soft, and I love how it just goes into your skin. The best. We've made it past episode 3, which means I am part of the 1%. I am officially a true, real podcaster. Thank you very much. We didn't lose sound on the new mic once. We had a couple technical difficulties with the video. No big deal, but all in all, I'd say this is a 10 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you next Tuesday, and that's that.